I think, how have you guys found studying from home?
I think it's probably the hardest. I don't want to, say woe is us, but probably the hardest faculty to try and adapt to online working, especially when it's so practical based. And I think being the third year when it all changed was just like, really? Like, obviously you can't help it. Like, it's happened all around the world this time. But trying to put final assessments that are practical into like on turning them online, etc. It was hard. Like it was done to the best it could have been. But at the same time, it was such of like a head jumble. I don't know. I've learned stuff how to use on software because of it, but before it, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
It's not really theatre. Like, I didn't understand theatre could work online, and I'm still not sure it can.
Do you feel like you got the support you needed for that then, like with the whole practical being online?
Yeah, I generally think that the tutors were like doing the best they could do, but I think even they had been given so little time to prepare.
Yeah.
So they were sort of learning together, and obviously because it's such a hands-on practical course in terms of the staff collaborate just as much as teach. It was, I feel like we were all in it together, so it felt a little less stressful. But at the same time, because we were all still trying to bumble our way through, that no one really could lead that well until sort of a few weeks down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say with me, since mine is based online anyway, it was pretty straightforward to transition into it. But to stay motivated to actually get the work done, and for the lecturers to do a good job at keeping us focused and self-motivated as well, was hard. Because at first we were in like the last 2 months, doing all of our last big projects, and then we were like, right, you got to do all at home now. See you later. So we had one more online sort of lesson, and then we were just left to it. In terms of the support, it was minimal, because I guess there's not much they can do in this sort of situation for our course, mainly because it was just projects that were getting finished off anyway. So they were just there, like, if you need us, message us. They weren't always there on hand, which was quite hard. So like, that there were like deadlines that we were trying to work to, and we needed to know certain things that we couldn't find out straight away. We had to wait a day or two to like get a whole reply. But apart from that, the interest and the focus dipped a hell of a lot. I think it was just a matter of getting it done for me, like, towards the end. It was just like, okay, let's get this done so it's out of the way, so I don't need to worry about having to work things out for myself, and just get it done. I think it went as well as it could have been. Like, there wasn't more that the lecturers themselves could have done. That was it. Like, we had some online classes, we had messages, but yeah, still a bad situation, not the most motivating environment to be in either. I've got like 7 people in this tiny house, so it's rammed, it's loud, but I stayed positive and I got it done.
That's interesting. I thought, because that is literally, I think, your get it done attitude, literally what sort of took over towards the end. And like, obviously I'm in a 5-bedroom flat of 2 people, so it's like opposite to having too many people around. But at the same time, that's hard to motivate, because you could both be in a bad mood, or one of you be in a good mood, one of you not be in the best mood. We're both in the same course, but I think I did feel very like the forgotten group of people across the education sector when you saw that A levels were getting sort of scrapped and GCSEs now having this consideration, and then the uni and our tutors had 2 weeks to just flip our courses, especially sort of creative courses, on their heads. So I generally think like part of the mindset to get out of was so hard, because there's no library to go to. There was like library books I was going to quote that then realised they weren't available online, and there's not really anything anyone can do about that. Like, it's no one's fault. No one saw it was coming, but it just became, it's just frustration. Like my bedroom became my uni room, my social, and it was just all this one space. I think towards the end, I don't know if my standard of work definitely dropped during this time.
Absolutely.
Such a shock to the system. Like, my essays, I just wanted to get them out of the way. Like, I don't even know what I wrote anymore. Like, I was just like, out they go. Just as long as they're done, that's one less thing to sort of worry about.
So, for when you were writing those essays and you sort of got to that point where you're thinking, I just need this done, do you think there was enough support from the university in the sense of not the lecturers, but ensuring that you had everything available to you? Do you think you were made aware of different services available, or was there maybe more that could have been done at that time?
God, I think the university as a whole took their time. I think it was like a slow, and there is that thing that everyone could be finding their way through, but it was very much like you have to go onto Uni Hub to find out at the start if we were even closing. There wasn't originally the daily updates when everyone was in that week of not sure what was going on, and then afterwards it was very much you had to do the checking in and stuff and know where to go, and then tutors started to have the standard stuff like tags at the end of their emails, and it was all very slowly filtered. I think it's very clear where stuff was, but I think I don't know, there's something about it that felt very much, I think it might have just been the situation that was overwhelming, but it just felt like it was all just there, but was there for show.
Well, I'm very guilty of not checking my student email enough. I'll say that. So when I checked it, there was a big flood of what's going on. It took a long time for them to sort of make the choice of saying, yeah, we're shut, you can't come in, see you later. So I just chose to come home and be like, look, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'll just go home and behave like I've got to be at home now. That's it. Because there was no point of me really trying to stay in my private accommodation, which I was paying for, if there was no point in staying there, paying all that money for it. So I was like, right, I'll just go home. And if I got to go back in, I'll just make a bus journey. I don't really mind. But I feel like it was the same for students and lecturers. They weren't really told for sure by the university fast enough what was going on. So we were all stuck thinking, how are we going to work this out? Are we in? Are we not in? It could have been handled better, but it all did happen very sudden. So I guess it was just all tough all around, really. But the communication could have been better. That was atrocious. Yeah.
I think the no detriment policy as well. Like that was.
Yeah.
I know the SU did a lot of work on that, but it felt like we were waiting ages for that. Like I literally saw it happening across different universities like Warwick, and I think Southampton and other unis had already processed it almost from day dot because they understood. And it was just the classic case of, I know my essays won't be as good. Like, will that be taken into consideration? Like, will it? And it was just that waiting. And by the time it did come through and the uni finally did make a statement, they made two statements, I think, didn't they? And one was very much, oh, we're thinking about it. And then the other one was they kind of said it but didn't use the word non-detriment. So it was kind of trying to work out what they meant. It's like very, very political and very sort of safe. And I think all we wanted was just like, your grades will be, this situation will be considered. Don't stress too much. That's all they needed. And it became like this big, it became a bit like a fight. I know lots of people in my year were like, sign the petition, what have you. It became this fight against the uni about something that seemed to us all so simple. Like all they had to do is say, yeah, fair enough, we'll take that into account. But it took them ages.
So do you think if that came sooner, earlier on when this all first started, that would have just eased the process while you were doing your assessments and made you feel a bit more at ease?
For sure, yeah.
Less anger as well, because the first 2 weeks of everything, I was angry at everything. Like everything just felt unfair. So I think that was the perfect time for them to be like, yeah, we're stumped as well. It's absolutely okay if your essays aren't as good or your practicals changed, and that could be taken into account. But we're waiting, 4 or 5 weeks minimum, I think, for that to come through. And by that point, everything was slowly moving on. So we were already writing essays and doing revised versions of practicals and what have you, and still not sure whether this was going to be the way grades work now. So that was frustrating at the time.
Yeah.
How are you all feeling on that now?
Well, I'm done now, more or less. So I don't need to worry about the rest of my year at the moment. I'm finished. I'm just waiting on my grades back. I say the main thing it's not bugging me, but it's on my mind is what my grades will look like now. Because towards the end, like I said, I was just trying to get it done. I was trying hard, obviously, and I was doing what I could, but the interest in what I was doing was not there at all. I was not interested. So that's the one thing that's sort of on my mind. But apart from that, I'm sort of over it now. You know, I'm just waiting for year 3 to start and see how that works out. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree in terms of that. Once it's done, and it's for some reason that mindset does just relax. Like I finished my BA now. Like that's what I finished last Friday, and it was so anticlimactic because it's obviously felt this big part of my life. But literally, it was me and my flatmate. Like, cheers! So that big celebration or what have you. But it was that once it was done, all the pressures did go in terms of thinking. Like the motivation didn't come back, but there was no longer felt a need to have motivation for it because it was gone. But I think I'm the same with Jordan in terms of it's just because I'm still not clear necessarily what that difference in grading means, what my grades will look like. So that's just. I mean, I'm not thinking about it too much, but if I just think, what are you worried about in the coming months and results coming in, I'd say definitely knowing how much consideration is taken into this.
Mm-hmm.